So, Shonali, are your friends playing a guessing game of who's on Ozempic and who's not?
Absolutely, not just a guessing game. They are behind people's backs, pretty sure of who's taking Ozempic, almost as if they've gone and seen the prescriptions themselves.
Really?
Yeah. And the other day, somebody asked me that you've lost a lot of weight. So I said, before you ask, no, it's not Ozempic. I lost my weight 2.5 years ago because of going on a low glycemic sort of a diet. And I eat healthy and I exercise. So she said, yeah, okay, you know what I was about to ask. So there you are.
So, Ozempic, as we all know, as everybody seems to know nowadays, came out in 2012. It's a wonder drug that was originally meant for type 2 diabetes, but now everyone seems to be taking it, from all the celebrities in Hollywood, Bollywood, wherever, to cut down on their weight without exercise. Someone's called it an eating disorder in a needle. And it's not just the celebrities. Every person seems to be on Ozempic and not talking about it. Where are they getting their Ozempic from in India, given it's not available?
In India, there are enough people who sell it off-label.
Okay.
But even in the US, there's a shortage of Ozempic. Firstly, the side effect, which was discovered by chance, suited about 74% of America's population that is suffering from obesity. And to that end, people who, not been able to lose weight and it causes any other severe complications inside their bodies, they were taking Ozempic, going to their GPs and somehow getting them to prescribe it. It's for $1,000 in the US. The manufacturing cost is not more than $5.
Really?
$1,000 a month supply.
Okay.
So clearly, it's a drug that if you don't have insurance, only a wealthy person can afford. And what is happening is that across the world now, there are people who found ways to supply it. And there's a shortage of this drug for people with type 2 diabetes who actually need it. Yeah.
That's a tragedy. And it also does have a lot many side effects which can be dangerous. I read something about a lawsuit about stomach paralysis that had been caused.
Yeah, gastroparesis.
Yes.
Because what it does is, GLP, there's a category of drugs called GLP-1 antagonists. They go into your brain and tell your brain that you are no longer hungry. And what it also does is it slows down your GI tract.
Okay.
So the food is sitting in it much longer than it should in a healthy individual.
So that causes all sorts of digestive issues.
So while that is a great thing for people with type 2 diabetes or those who are about 60, 80 kilos overweight and too fat to even move around and exercise, where it is sort of dangerous to their health, it's good for them. But people who are doing it because they're too lazy to work out or couldn't be bothered to go on a diet, they don't realize that the long-term effects, firstly, the weight loss happens because it takes away your lean mass, muscle mass. That's really dangerous. And that's why there's a thing called the Ozempic face.
Yeah, it ages you around 15 years.
It does.
Sharon Osbourne actually went on and said she's doing everything she can now to fill her face back again.
I know, she looks scary.
Because she was looking so scary after that.
Yeah. But interestingly, Oprah appeared on ABC in a show called Shame, Blame and the Weight Loss Revolution. And Oprah used to be the spokesperson for Weight Watchers, right?
Right.
And most of America, since the mid-80s, since 1986 is when her career started, has been more involved with Oprah's weight gain and weight loss game than with Oprah herself. Okay. On the one hand, now she has checked out of Weight Watchers and she has admitted to being on a drug for weight loss. She's hasn't
not
yet named it because I guess there must be endorsement thing and whatever. But the fact is, Kiran, that when you finally, she has taken away accountability from people who are too lazy and who are just gluttons and who are neglecting their health, in saying that you are not to be blamed if you're obese. There's a gene responsible for that. So, and now, there is this drug and everyone can take that and so on and so forth. This is the best thing has happened to people who want to lose weight. And now she's herself lost a ton of weight. At 70, she finally has a body she's always dreamed of, right? There is more shame, actually. Look at the irony. On the one hand, you're saying, don't be ashamed of your body. On the other hand, you're endorsing a drug that says that it'll give you the body you want. What are you doing? You're working at cross purposes.
So what has Ozempic also done for the entire body positivity movement?
It's dragged it back by at least a few decades.
Because you are saying now that you don't need to struggle to get the body of your desire, of your aspiration.
Forget struggle, not even work towards.
Nothing. You just jab your stomach once a week with this Ozempic or the other alternative.
Mounjaro.
Wegovy.
Okay.
Which will knock off 15% of your body fat, while Ozempic will knock off 10%. And Mounjaro, yes, of course, which is more potent in terms of getting the body fat off. And you do that once a week, and that's all you need to do. But
no one's talking about the potential thyroid issues you can develop.
Pancreatitis,
Crohn's disease. I read up, I watched this YouTube video of a woman, a young girl actually, who was very plump, and then her GP encouraged her to get onto Ozempic because the pharma lobby is so strong.
Yes.
That they're encouraging GP, they're probably rewarding them in many ways to recommend this drug. And she spoke about her colitis. She had colitis, history with some digestive disorder, which was completely tackleable. It had subsided and gone. She had completely healed from it. She's in her 20s. She says that the pain that she suffered on Ozempic, she wouldn't wish that upon anybody. And she said that please don't get carried away by all the stories you're hearing and think that is tickety-boo. Okay? It's very complicated and no one's talking about that. Why? Because then they'll have to admit that they are on Ozempic. The same way that most people in this world will not talk about a botched up, a Botox surface job because that will lead to admission. That they took assistance for aesthetic improvement of their appearances. So it's the same thing.
And I think I watched the same video, and she also mentioned it's unpleasant to listen that it was so bad that she actually pooped her pants.
Yeah, that's right. It's the same video. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not going to be pleasant. You're going to be slim and trim with a wonderful body everyone can envy, but you can't control.
You'll have to wear a
diaper.
Adult diaper. Yeah.
Imagine, under that wonderful gown you wanted to get into and for what you're losing weight.
Absolutely.
So, panty line issues are going to happen.
But Kiran, on the other hand, if somebody, it's people, their bodies and their choice. If somebody is on Ozempic, should people be gossiping about them and Ozempic shaming them? It's a question I'm asking you. I don't have an answer to this. Or I might have, but I want to understand your POV on this.
I think it's nobody's business.
Correct.
What anyone is on. My only concern would be the health issues. I have struggled with weight all my life. I've struggled with PCOD all my life. It's only in my 50s that I've actively started taking steps towards, rectifying.
Yeah, you work out so much.
I work out. I'm on a healthy diet. I'm not the best example, but I'm saying you can control this unless, of course, there's a thyroid issue, which is or a medical issue. You can control your weight if you want to. Why do you want to take shortcuts which will impinge the rest of your health, your body, and which will be long-term? We don't have long-term data on Ozempic. They have only 5-year data.
That's exactly. It's the same way with our vaccines, the COVID vaccines. Now they're finding blood clots. People are dropping dead in their 40s and even sooner because now they realize that there was no long-term research. My friend Udit pointed out a very interesting fact the other day.
I love how Udit comes in all our podcasts. Hi, Udit.
Hi, Udit. No, he says very interesting. He said, it's your individual choice if you want to, take the easy way out and you're too fond of eating and drinking to be bothered about, working out and eating healthy. But you also, in the process of for giving up these other things by this quick fix solution, you're giving up the benefits of exercising, right?
Absolutely.
Which is endorphins. Going on a walk is great for your mindfulness.
Weight training is good for your bones.
Good for your bones. And eating within, training your mind to eat right and eat healthy is a great way to tame your mind. I mean, so all of these things put together have their own many other benefits, which actually, frankly, I had not even thought of.
It's a wonderful point. And Ozempic does kill your appetite. You don't feel like eating. I read one person saying that she actually had to set timers to remind her to eat because she didn't feel hungry at all and she could go the entire day without eating while she was on Ozempic. what is the point of life if you don't eat?
No, one is that definitely. And your body needs nourishment. So, this is the same thing, Kiran. When intermittent fasting started, Indian health coaches and health gurus, self-proclaimed, most of them have no background in nutritional sciences, started to copy-paste Western nutritionists and quoting them and encouraging their clients to go on intermittent fasting. It became the fad that, it continues to be. There are apps that teach you how to do it. And I personally, because I love food and I'm obsessed with food actually. So I thought, okay, in my mid-40s, I'm, bulking up a bit. Let me try this. Now, it's not one size fits all. And apparently for my kind of a body type, I should have really not attempted it. I started getting hot flashes and high acidity, heartburn, all sorts of things. But if you speak to any of these guys, they will find something else to blame it on because this cannot be, right?
Okay.
And a lot of young girls started going on intermittent fasting. And what did that lead to? Calcium deficiencies, hyperacidity.
Okay.
The hydrochloric acid is corrosive. It starts coming in your upper tract. It can perforate your lining, right?
Lining of the stomach.
So the thing is, there's no accountability from people who preach this on Instagram and nutritionists who prescribe it because there was no long-term research on that either.
I don't know about that, but I must just add, I've been doing IF, I think, around 15, 20 years now. And it was not IF back then. It was just Kiran raat ko khana nahi khati hai. And
why did you do it?
Because I was too lazy to exercise. I'm being very honest here. And while I love food, I'm not obsessed with food. And I realized when I ate at night, I felt very heavy. And I did some reading up about autophagy and things like that. And also realized why the Jains do not eat after sunset. And that was
so
just
you used to not eat after sunset?
I used to not eat.
But you had 3 meals a day?
No, I had 2 meals a day.
Okay.
My last would be 1:30.
But you started this well in your 30s.
Yeah, in my mid-30s.
Young girls are doing this at 16.
No, that's not good. They are not yet fully grown. They have no business.
Even in your 20s, you shouldn't be doing this. If you do it at 35, 40, no problem.
But even if you're doing IF, I think it's body type and what your body can adjust to. It's all individual.
Yeah.
The chemistry of your individual body with each diet. You have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
But having said all this, there's a nice side effect not connected to IF and fasting, but the weight loss and Ozempic and it being a diabetic drug. My dear husband was prescribed a diabetic medication and he was also on a weight loss process because he was a little, I say optimistically, a little overweight. He was very happy. He lost a lot of weight and rather quickly. It was like a record weight loss. The doctor was impressed. We were all very impressed. He was walking every day. He was controlling his diet. He'd almost gone off alcohol, fried stuff, all the junk food. Very good, very good. Talia was happening. The diabetes went off. Sugar levels normal. HbA1, whatever, back to normal. Doctor said, okay, get off the medication. The weight came back on.
There you go.
Not as much as before.
Sure. Because his lifestyle became healthier, I would imagine.
Yeah. Not as much as before. He put on around 4-5 kilos back again. And now for the life of him, he can't dislodge them. And he is agonizing. What happened? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And now I know it's probably the medicine.
He needed that medication.
He needed it.
I was in California recently and my cousin who lives in the US, he is diabetic. And he is on Mounjaro.
Okay.
During the lockdown, he was drinking, there's this, on Swiggy or one of these food apps, not Swiggy, but one of the food apps in the US, you could order cocktails during the lockdown.
Oh, wonderful. I like this.
So my brother was ordering 3 cocktails every night. Okay.
Lovely.
All sugary cocktails. And before you knew it, his sugar had gone through the roof. And he used to eat throughout the day because, that's how people coped with the lockdown in different ways. I did the same, by the way. I picked out throughout the day. And he then had to be put on Mounjaro because his sugar was going through the roof and he was really not doing well. Now, when I met him this time, he told me that he eats 1 meal a day. And I said, but do you not feel hungry? He said, I don't. But the thing is, because I was around him, I tempted him into eating and even drinking. He said, I don't even drink any longer, but you're in California, you'll have that one glass of wine. And I said, come on, how can you not have good wine? You're in California. So, but I mean, that's besides the point. But I've seen that in his case, he works out every single day, even though he's got this Ozempic, whatever, Mounjaro working for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not surrendered to this one medicine and saying, now I don't need to take care of my health.
He's doing his bit.
He's doing his bit. And he says usually he eats one good-sized meal, but the other meal is a healthy meal of, like salads and fruits.
Mm-hmm.
So he's eating really well and healthily. So there is some accountability there in the sense that even though he does require the drug. And of course, he has lost weight. But if you're just doing it because it's a shortcut, then it's just your health that's going to,
There are people taking this just to get into their outfits for their shadi.
That's dangerous.
Just to, because they have some big event
it's
or
just not worth it.
Function coming up. So 6 to 8 weeks before, they're busy getting this. And they're sourcing it from abroad.
Pancreatitis. How do you pronounce it?
Pancreatitis.
I can never say it. It's one of those things that I can never enunciate.
We should have an app which, very kindly you say a word and say, how do you pronounce it? And you pronounce it.
No, I still can't say it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine has it and I keep saying, how is that pancreas thing?
The best. It's like me not being able to spell diarrhea in my notes to school. So I'd always say loose motions.
Oh dear God, that's so old-fashioned, right? Because it's so visual.
Yeah.
Loose motions is disgusting. That's what her mums used to say.
But when you write notes in the calendar, the kids' calendar, then you can't spell the word. Then you can't cancel it too many times.
Yeah. But it's like when we were growing up, they were the pediatricians were called child specialists. And the foot doctors called a podiatrist. And for the longest time, when I was growing up, I was confused between the two because I wasn't a mother yet. I wasn't married, podiatrist, pediatrician. Anyway,
ek hi baat hai.
I love the way we digress. But so where were we? So I was just saying that we all understand vanity is something that is part of being a human being, I guess. We all want to look good or whatever. But it's up to the doctors. It's on the doctors if they are not warning their patients.
I doubt very much these people are going to doctors and getting prescriptions. They're just sourcing it.
Either the chemist in Bandra. I believe that chemist is the provider of Ozempic. Yeah.
Okay.
And he must be selling it at some fat margins compared to even what the US is doing. But it's a matter of time before some Indian pharma company will
pick it up.
But this Danish pharma company that produces Ozempic is the most valuable company of the past 1 year. It has overshot even Louis Vuitton. That should tell you that this shaming and attaching a person's self-worth to their
body image,
body fat, it's become worse than ever before.
Worse in the age of Instagram and perfect images.
Yeah, because now see, pharma companies are pushing this drug. This drug is encouraging people or making people thinner. You're going to see the next person's become thin. You'll be tempted to take it. And now this is a very, very vicious and dangerous loop.
I would like to warn the women taking Ozempic out there. There is a phenomenon known as Ozempic babies. You become more fertile.
That's right, yeah. So the birth control pill doesn't work, right?
I don't know about that technically.
But you do. You have some experience there.
No, I in terms of diabetic drugs helping you with your fertility, I can give you a personal anecdote on that. I had been trying to have a baby for many years. I went through
recently. Another one?
No, I'm done with my baby making.
Uh-huh.
I am like hot flashing now. But when I went to 2 different doctors. They put me through all sorts of treatments and very complicated stuff, which I won't get into here. Then I went to Dr. Indira Hinduja. And she suggested, put me on a drug called metformin. That's the basic drug for diabetes.
But you didn't have diabetes.
I didn't have diabetes. Yeah. For whatever reasons known to her. And that point, were not, Google was not around. It was around, but I don't know why I didn't use it. And you sort of trusted the doctor and kept your mouth shut. You didn't ask too many questions.
Yeah.
Later, I realized that I conceived that very month with a very basic procedure called an IUI.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd become more fertile that month. Metformin.
How old were you at the time?
32.
Nice.
So maybe there's something to it. These Ozempic
No,
babies.
they must be there. They're writing about
About
that
it.
these days. They're
It's
saying
a
that-
side effect that we never expected.
But
then,
imagine the US with the different states having those anti-abortion laws.
But I mean,
It's a recipe for disaster.
but my only thought is for women, you're taking this to lose weight and then you get pregnant and then you have to struggle to lose weight even after
No,
the
then
baby.
they get, they'll probably take it again unless by that time there are
Something
enough horror stories of people for whom it's not worked out there in the open. I mean, I think whoever is tempted to take it and who can afford it, please go onto YouTube and write Ozempic gone wrong and listen to first-hand testimonials. It'll freak you out quite a bit.
Or go look at Sharon Osbourne's face.
But Kiran, our attitudes as a race need to also change towards people who are obese, or rather on the wrong side of
The fat divide.
fat divide. Because ultimately, there are people who don't feel seen because they are overweight.
That's true.
And when somebody loses weight, there was one woman who Oprah was interviewing on the same show. And that woman, they showed her before and after pictures. It's a life-changing drug for her.
Absolutely.
But of course, she was like this wide.
Absolutely.
And as a society, I don't know why and when we will, stop calling people fatty or describe people based on, because this is going to, of course, make it worse. And Oprah being the poster girl, she's called the dieter-in-chief of America. Okay. So that is not going to help, certainly. But I think that there's a deeper message here. This obsession of this entire human race with thinness.
So it's not going to change easily. It's we've been through cycles. We've been through phases in human history where women being plump was actually desirable.
Yeah, I long for that phase.
Yeah, I mean, I was born at the wrong time and the wrong age. I know that.
About 100 years later.
Yeah, many 100 years later.
Yeah.
So all the Italian masters, if you
Of
see
course.
Rubens, I mean, lovely, curvaceous,
Yeah.
voluptuous women, and those were desirable. So I am hoping that this is a phase the human race is going through, and we'll grow out of it, and the next phase will be nice, curvaceous, voluptuous women.
Yeah. Right now, even with men, the obsession with fitness, you see, there's an underlying message when somebody is overweight, which is that I'm slovenly and lazy.
And I can't take charge of my own life.
Yeah. So I think that, and therefore the shame. They're feeling defeated.
I read a very interesting anecdote with Anil Ambani, of course, though now he's not in a position of power, so to speak. He was overweight, and someone asked him, and then he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
and
he used to go running up and down Bombay
mad
with his
bodyguards
following him.
They asked him, why did you start running? He said, I realized that when I went abroad, not so much in India, people would not take me seriously as a corporate head because I was overweight.
This is it, yeah.
So fitness, to be in a position of power, you also have to be fit.
But that's not a bad thing. It's again evolutionary. To survive in this world, you need to be fit. And to be fit, then you need to look fit because it's going to increase your lifespan and that's going to influence your DNA, which you'll pass on. So again, it applies to evolutionary psychology. If you think of that, it sort of does make sense. But, I was always a plump girl. Always a properly plump girl.
So was I.
Who loves her food. And every time I've lost weight, it is not by starving at all. Even today, before coming, I've eaten 2 really large, chilas with a lot of vegetables and, mangoes and that sort of a thing and come. Even as early as 12 noon, we were to meet at 12 noon. And I'm going to go back and eat something. And I'm going to have, so I just feel that food nurtures and nourishes us. Food is not our enemy.
So this entire thing about being plump and being invisible, when you're a young girl growing up, the other side of the divide, and if you're slightly plump, you get groped a lot.
Really? I never got groped.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you were lucky.
I told you, no, because I was like a boy.
So I went through...
Adolescent boy.
So I went through that entire phase when I really starved myself down.
Oh no.
To the extent that I got amenorrhea and lost my periods for around 6 months.
Oh, that's scary.
And developed PCOD. All because I was a little heavy on the top and I would get groped everywhere. So I can understand that need to, bring your weight to a certain normal so that you fit in and you're not singled out sometimes.
What would you say to your younger self today after having gone through the side effects of poor health because of not eating adequately?
And that, of course, led to my fertility issues also later.
Please, I think these are the conversations we need to have. Okay, I want to ask you this. If you could go back and what would you say to your younger self today, trying to fit in, wanting to lose weight?
Get off your butt and exercise.
Yeah.
Starving
Otherwise-
yourself is not the solution.
Yeah.
It'll just ruin your health. There are no shortcuts to this.
And your ability to conceive and
Yeah.
your ability to lead a full life. Because, by the way, women who starve themselves get early onset of osteoporosis.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's also another side effect of Ozempic, a potential side effect.
of Ozempic,
Yeah.
osteoporosis. That's scary. See, at the end of the day, go to the gym, do your weight training, do your cardio.
Yeah, and
your
eat
bones,
healthy.
Eat healthy. Your
Don't eat
bones
the
will-
samosas and the vada pavs and the pizzas. There's so many healthy alternatives today to eat.
And disclaimer again, this is only for those who want to lose a certain amount of weight, not for those who have medical conditions. We are no doctors.
No, of course, people with medical conditions need this. We are generally chatting as friends about this whole trend, this whole scary trend. Yeah,
No shortcuts to it. Do it the hard way. It'll last your life.
for sure.